Live, live, live. There we go. Live, live, live. Sorry about that. It was on mute. Day 2 of testing this new microphone. Let's see if it works today. Hey, Joe. Good morning. Audio sounds great. Was that when I was on mute or now? Good morning, beautiful Space Noids. Good morning, beautiful Joe. What's going on, brother? So the question comes down to, is this the best it's ever sounded? Because I've now dialed in the microphone and I think everything should be good. But yeah, great. Perfect. Hey, Ken, good morning. Yo. Better than Insta. Perfect. All right, so microphone is now in place. Yeah, I think we're good. George, Ken. What's going on, man? Mike sounds great. All right, so I did dial back. I did find that I thought the settings were set up for the microphone. The input volume was, the input gain basically was set up right, but it was not. I've now fixed that, and we're going to leave it like that. So lovely, lovely, lovely. Okay. We are getting down to the last bit here. Last bit of work. Today's Wednesday, right? Happy hump day, everybody. Bye-bye. Sound off like Mystery Science Theater. MST3K. Trying to avoid the lettering if I can. Oops. Still got a little bit of recessing going on here. That's good. The day. Got the word of the day right here. What's the word of the day? Let's play the game, shall we? Word of the day Wednesday. Let's see if it's a word I know. I do try to have a good understanding of the English language. I fail miserably most times, but I try. Hey, Edwin. Good evening, my friend. How are you? Oh, definitely not. Paraprostokian, a figure of speech where the second part makes you reevaluate the beginning. Paraprostokian. That I can use for Thursday night. I don't know if anybody can use that word, but we'll find out. I mean, did you go to the dictionary of ancient never to be used words again dictionary? Bringing commission and cleaning up workshop again. It is slow, but at least it's going. Yeah. Edwin, when you're done, come over and you can clean up my place too. You obviously seem to be doing a much better job. You spend a lot of time cleaning, and I admire, because I don't have that ability. So please feel free to stop on by at your convenience and organize, clean, etc. I would appreciate it greatly. Oh man, sorry, still getting my ass kicked by allergies. I did take an allergy med this morning, so hopefully that'll help out a little bit. But man, that's all I'm saying. Oh, guys, excuse me 1 second. Almost forgot something. I need. That could be bad. Got to bring something to work with me. That was work related. Example, I used to do drugs. I still do. But I used to also. Mitch Hedberg. That's the example? I have help from my driver and maid just to keep things. And then I do the organizing and tossing. Got it. Nice. Nice to have people that'll help you as well. I used to have those. They were called children. I like your shorts, Gio. My shredded shorts. Oh, yeah. My bum around at home shorts. My go out and do yard work shorts. I look good in them, don't I? I'm not going to lie. I know I look good. Your kids help? Not really. Am I asking? Oh, free labor? Well, I mean, kids get paid somehow, right? Food, shelter, stuff like that. Lots of pockets for sanding sticks. Actually, these are not my my cargo shorts. What is it with the vilification of cargo shorts? They're like the best. I wear cargo shorts all the time. Love them. Let's see, what else have I got in here? Oh my god. Here's perhaps a better one for you. War doesn't decide who's right, only who's left. I like that. And how does that is that when the second part makes you reevaluate the beginning? So that's an example of, I'm going to try to do this, and it sounds like it's a Greek word too. Paraprosdokian. That is an example of paraprosdokian. Did I even pronounce that correctly? You got these bike legs, of course. We look good in shorts. I know. These legs aren't as sharp as they used to be. No cargo hate here. I love it. Thank you. Let's see. We got the well, first things first. They were born because of you. I know that is true. Edwin, stop with the reasoning. Damn it. Love cargos. Oh yeah. Just hearing all this, like cargo shorts. Oh, they're just like such a faux pas. Like, are you kidding me? Nah, sorry, not buying. I love when aesthetics trumps practicality. Sorry, I will always go to practicality. Anyway, these are more than a few years old, and they've seen better days. But they're good for this kind of stuff. Being at home, kicking back, going out of the yard. Give me a second, guys. So the word function over fashion all day long, generally speaking. Look, I mean, don't get me wrong. There is something to be said. I mean, fashion is there, but as you said, function over fashion, not function no fashion. Once again, I just want to say good morning to everyone again. Good morning, or Edwin, good evening. Actually, when you mentioned word of the day, the one that kept on running through my head the last couple of days, mug. One that's been running through my head the last couple of days is because Gavin Newsom uses bloviating, which I think he used like 2 or 3 times. I love that word, bloviating. But paraprostokian, that's the word of the day. I will not remember it, but I'm going to try. When I wear cargos, I get stuck in the Panama Canal. Well, I can see that happening, Ray. Good morning, Ray. Yeah, right. In fact, no, I can't. Just to let you know. No, I can't actually. Right. Anyway, how's everybody's day started? How did everybody's Tuesday go? Not gonna lie, yesterday was sort of a I was out of sorts most of the day. Just didn't feel great. I'm sure it was just I got home, still didn't feel good. Just so much stuff to do. Yesterday was a really busy day, both at work and at home. Last 36 hours was kind of like that. Hey, Seb, good morning. How are you, my friend? But I did get work on the after I got, literally sat down after dinner and all. I had an opportunity to work a little bit on the Dunbine and watch the Kaminsky Method, which I don't know, it was a wonderful show. For old guys, it's a wonderful show. All right, we're looking pretty okay. I'm trying not to cut into any of the writing. Almost there though. Doing pretty fine. And you? How are you? I'm all right. I'm all right. I was just saying it's like yesterday was an odd day. Excuse me a second. I'm just trying to get this camera to refocus. There we go. Yesterday just was an odd day. Just was, as I told my wife, just out of sorts. From the moment go. I just felt overwhelmed by just everything that's been going on, both at work and at home. But okay. But today is a new day. Today is a new day. After I dropped Katie off, I went to a guided tour of the restoration and storage hangar at Neiman. Oh, nice. How was that, Ray? I'm sure that was a fun time. I had a friend who took limbo lessons since she was 4. She can go under a rug now. I love it. I spilled spot remover on my dog and I can't find him now. I love it. Stephen Wright, man. That guy, what a treasure. What a treasure. Speaking of, so a little sort of 7 ways to Kevin Bacon kind of thing. You just mentioned Stephen Wright, and I've been oh, those are Parapostokians. Yeah, I guess that was a good example. You know, it's funny when you give a good example of the word, not necessarily using the word in a sentence, but using what it does, you start to understand it a lot more. And it's funny because I'm still labial. I'm still not exactly certain what its definition is, but this one makes a lot of sense. Prospertokians, yeah. They're doing tickets for an interior tour of the Excambian next. I'm going to aim for that one too. Good for you, Ray. Man. To have free time. I will hopefully have some starting in the fall, but even then, more free time and less free time. So Stephen Wright. So I remember his performances when he was on. If anybody have ever watched Mad About You back in the late late 90s, however long it ran, and Stephen Wright, his appearances in that show were always fabulous because he did his traditional deadpan presentations, his paraprosdokian presentations, and the episode with him and Jerry Lewis, where Jerry Lewis is feeding him crackers. Absolutely one of the funniest things ever. So last night I was reminded once again that Bandai is making a Gundam tabletop game for 2026. Seems like my printer gonna go brrr to make some proxies, yeah. So they're doing a tabletop game. Now my understanding is hasn't Gundam been kind of ported into some of Warhammer? I thought I read something about that. I could be wrong because I just kind of saw an article and skirted by it really quickly, but I'm kind of curious if that's the case. And this is going to be a standalone game. Oof. Well, I'll tell you, I wish them all the luck. You know, it's funny when properties become games or other media, it's very hit or miss. Just getting coffee and cigarettes with Robert Benigni is great. Yeah, I got to rewatch that. I didn't really care for the movie that much. I thought it was it was okay. Not his strongest effort, but I do remember Robert Benigni on that was absolutely strung the fuck out. Great movie by Jim Jarmusch. I think so. There's at least one tabletop Gundam game, but this one is Bandai official. Oh, the other one's unofficial. No, not going to Warhammer. This one is standalone. The prices for a box set is the price of a box set of 3 is 3,000 yen. That's 3 figures for 3,000 yen. So $1,000, $10 a figure. Cheaper than Warhammer. I have to tell you, one figure, $30+. My God. That's a bit much. I'm just gonna say. Ken, though, it is fascinating that you brought up coffee and cigarettes, because actually that came up in conversation I had with, I think, one of my kids recently. That movie. I know why. Because of Joe Strummer. Because that was the movie that I think he did some of the soundtrack for with Joe Strummer, the Mescaleros, Street Core, which is I would put it in one of my top 100 albums of all time. I love that album. Wait a Night on Earth, Skit with the Priest. I've never, believe it or not, I've not seen Night on Earth. I've not. I also think Jarmusch. I believe that is a Jarmusch film too. That would make sense. Okay. We are almost there. Anyway, how's everybody else doing? Anybody got anything else fun going on? You silent majority, you? There we go. All right, that's gonna be close enough. Anything else beyond this? I'll have to wait until I see what it looks like after primer's on. Anyway, just real quickly. That's all it is. Just a little bit of cleanup right there. Getting that pin fill. Oh, how are you going? I'm doing well, GB. How are you? Good evening to you, my friend. So I'm trying something new to me. Butter in your coffee. I will let you know after the fresh pot. Hold it a second. Phyllis Schlafly. What about her? I'd rather not discuss her. Unless we're discussing it in relation to dead Kennedys. Good, thanks, man. Good to hear. Didn't you watch Strange Foods with Andrew Zimmer? Nope. I don't even know what any of that is. What's Strange Foods with Andrew Zimmer? Wait, that's rhetorical moral majority. That's rhetorical? Yeah, right. Oh, God. Butter in the coffee? Oof. Just getting pretty ready to start a new car model. Are you? Which car model are you starting? Which one? All right, let's get some of this cleaned up. Yeah, Ray. Goes around the world trying strange local foods. One place didn't get the memo and just served him stuff they thought he would strange, included butter and coffee. I'm starting the Honda Civic Mugen from Zoom on kits. I've never. Okay, Honda Civic Mugen. It sounds like a street version. That's cool. Zoom on kits. Is that the name of the model company? Nope, not for now. I'm waiting for my Plum for a Meteor. We get out this month. Normally, apart from this, eat, sleep, work. Can't wait for my next paid vacation, paid leave. Yeah. When is that, Seb? Yeah, Zoom on. Really? Never heard of Zoom on models. I got to tell you, the number of small manufacturers that are out there is actually it's impressive. I love it. So, GB, question: is it a good model? And what I mean by that is, like, to me, everybody knows, Bandai knows, you know the big names, Edward and those kinds of companies. The smaller companies, and what I mean by smaller ones, it's like that make excellent products. They're gaining popularity. Like for me, Border, Mang, Ryfield, stuff like that. Those companies are the ones that are doing absolutely fabulous work. Is this sort of like that? They're building stuff that's at or better than Tamiya quality, but they're doing like subjects that maybe or maybe not. They're just doing stuff that just kicks ass. Let's see. Last night I was talking to a friend about the mix. A can of Monster with a bottle of our traditional herbal drink. Ugh. Really? He was going to? And did he? Yeah, zoom on. Mid-July to mid-August from memory. Nice. Wow. 1 month off. God bless. Mugen is an aftermarket company that makes performance parts, kind of like Shelby or IROC. Okay. I was actually more interested in who the model company was, but I guess Mugen is that kind of makes sense too. Thank you for clarifying that. Cool. All right. Yeah. There were some Aoshima cars. Aoshima produced some and again, what do I know about cars, right? But they recently, probably in the last year or two, introduced some really interesting, um, I guess they're a little hopped up Japanese sports cars from like the 70s that looked really interesting. It's like, boy, that'd be a fun model. It's like, I'm never going to build it. It's the reason why I never picked them up, because it's like they look absolutely fabulous. And if I had another 30, 40 years in my life, I'd go buy one. Um, but they look really, really cool. They do models that to me and Rebel don't do. Okay, so that's good. So they're building. Okay, and how's their quality? How's the quality of the model itself? Make sure I'm not missing anything. We'll try to mix the drink when we meet at the next convention, GBWC. Edwin, when's GBWC? We have something similar here called Jaeger Bomb. It's a mix of Crazy Tiger energy drink and Jaeger. Oh, God. Oh. Sorry. Just the thought of Jägermeister just spins my stomach. After mixed Monster with Jamu. As Kenker, I usually drink the Jamu for Aftercom to delete all the soreness. Oh, interesting. GBWC is in October. Cool. Wow. Jamu Beras Kenker. Interesting. Edwin, what kind of drink is that? Is that like a tea? I got to ask a stupid question for the Gundam types out there. Is GBWC still relevant? And I'm sure the answer is yes. Just, I don't know. Maybe it's just I'm out of touch with a lot of that. You know, just kind of don't really care about it much. It is very good for 3D print cars, and he does trans kits as well. Okay. So is it 3D a 3D printed model, or is it a plastic molded model? Fascinating stuff. Yeah, it's kind of curious to see where this is going. Again, something new to me. I like new. Guys, again, I do apologize. Someday I will be better. All right, I am going to hit this area with a little bit of surfacer. Show you what I'm working on right now. Yeah, let's flip this down. There we go. No 3D print, full resin. Oh, full resin kits. Wow. Wow, full resin. Ooh, good for them. That's a lovely thing. All right, so real quickly, that piece of plastic that was put in there, you can actually see a black line right below. That's the CA. But if you take a look inside there, it's kind of got like almost like this roughness to it. Yeah. So that's where it's the gap's been filled, but again, it's cratered inside. So I'm just going to hit it with a little bit of surfacer. You can get the little bullet bicycle kit. Can I? The question is, will I? The answer is probably not. But I do have bicycle kits. One was a gift from Chris Bernique, who's been on here before. And the other one is it's Boma bikes, which was I don't know, 4 bikes in a box, little ones. I'll build them someday. Those I wanted to kind of just build one and just see what it's like. Probably donate the rest of them. I'm not going to build all 4. So where you come from? From the north of France. That's right. And by the way, oh my God, we're getting to that time. The world is about to stop. Tour de France is about to begin. Speaking of, the greatest sporting event on the planet. It's about to begin. Before we do that, it's like I always got to give a shout out to that. There we go. All right. Oh man, I gotta tell you. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. That looks so good. We got the surfacer on there. Gonna let it dry, and then we're going to sand that all down. Let's take a look at this side to see if there's anything. Yeah, I want to do a little bit over here too. Interesting. Side's a little rougher. Happy hump day. Hey, Richie, good morning. What's going on, my friend? How is your hump day going so far? Work must be half done, which is not a bad deal. All right, we got that. We got that. One side. The rifle should be all set. I don't think there's anything I need to do to the rifle. Nah. This arm. Let's fill in a little bit of gap here. Okay. I'm not going to bother going in there. Let's cap this sucker. Work is done. I'm just waiting till 1 p.m. Nice. Hold it. Work is done? And you're cruising to 1? It's been slow. I'm just getting paid to be lazy. Wow. Dude, are they hiring? In fact, Richie, what's interesting is you bring up a very interesting point. So this time of year, things start to slow down. There's just been and also just a couple of changes that have been going on at the office, right? Just anyway, I'm not going to go into the nitty gritty of it, but things are just a little slow right now. And my general manager is like, okay, so can you do a little bit X? And I just a little bit something else. And I looked at her and I said, no. And the reason was, and this has been sort of like the work frustration. It's once again, I feel like when we don't have enough bodies to do certain things, it's, well, you go do something. You do more. You do more. Since I came back to the company in 2015, in the last decade, I've literally doubled the workload. In that we're not going to go into it, but it's like, and the pay has not increased, but I'm commissioned, so I've been selling a little bit more, so that's good, and that's what I'm being told. You want to make more money? Go sell more. Well, that's fine, except that the duties that you're giving me are not the duties of a salesperson. So right now, could I do more stuff? Yeah. Am I going to? No. Because I'm not taking on more duties just to make it easier for the company to not fulfill its obligation in marketing and business development. I see. Don't Americans have Jaeger and Red Bull? Ugh. We have Jaeger. I don't drink Jaeger. I haven't had that in 40 years. Don't know. I've never been to the U.S. Hopefully someday. They can't say do extra stuff to me because it's part of my job as it is that why I open at 4:30 a.m. Yeah. See, that's just it. It's like the expectation, see, at least it sounds like they've got good expectations. For me, it's like, oh, yeah, we've lost people. We're reshuffling things. You're going to be taking on this 5 or 10% more duty. Well, that's fine. I can do that. It's except when you do that 4 or 5 times, 5%, 10%, 5 times. Well, it's like suddenly it's like, no, I don't want to do this. I'm done. You want to add another 1%? No, I can do it. Not going to do it. Call me an asshole, and I'm okay with it. Not going to do it. All right. So let's take a look here. We've got this guy slowly coming along. I'm going to do a little bit of cleanup inside here, and then I'm not going to glue the hoses in, but we're going to, oops. Oh, the head came off. I've decapitated him. Oh my God. Oh, you know what? Fuck. Just realized something. I need to get in there and clean up a little bit. I'm the asshole here. Yeah, but you're my kind of asshole, Richie. Always remember that. 5-10%. Okay, make sure it shows on my check every week. Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. I've always been a company guy. Always. It's like, and it's not like I don't want to do work. You're my kind of asshole. I have no problem with working, but don't get abusive. You don't want to replace people. Okay. I'm not going to continue to take up the slack because you don't want to replace people. Sorry. I'm at a limit right now. Let's put it that way. I reached my limit. All right. So in typical fashion of the day, all of these models were literally, 50-50, you had one half of something and another half of something and bang. And if there was any kind of detail in the middle or what have you, it didn't matter. What's interesting is if we take a look at like the back of the head here, right? Let's see if I can actually focus in on that a little bit. And you can see right in the middle, there's like right that shiny part right there. So this model came together with a recessed detail inside. So now you got to clean up that interior. Fine. Can be done. In a modern model, what's interesting is that would have come together with these two halves, and then it would have come around this piece, molding all of that center block into one thing, right? Into one thing. And that would have allowed for less of a seam line in a place that's harder to clean. And would it have added more effort? Yeah, I can understand why, because I'm going to make the assumption when they did this stuff, the reason they did this, 2 halves, is they were literally creating one half, remolding it to duplicate it on the other side, and that's how you created the 2 halves. I'm assuming. I could be wrong. Again, this is where it's like I would love to have a conversation with, model designers. Wouldn't it be great to take like a class in model designing, like the history of the design, how you execute to it, how molds are created, how molds are refreshed, all of it. Just, it'd be fabulous. Every group has one that will make sure no one takes shit from others. Really? You think so? Everybody knows better to try and abuse me, but I abuse them and they can't fire me because I'm very valuable. Yeah. Sometimes we have to be careful with that because I do the same thing. I know my value in my company, but I also know it's like, look, people get, sometimes people are like, you know what? It's just not worth it. And as we've seen before, Richie, and I can't speak for you, but people make terrible decisions sometimes. Sorry. You know what? Let's do this. I believe I have a chisel that'll fit in there. That'd be nice. 2 mil. Let's break out the 2 mil chisel. There it is. Oh, I finally got my HG Pale Rider Cavalry. It's back on Peen Bandai. I got two. Got to build two? Yeah, it looks like all the Pale Riders seem to be back in either back in stock or yeah, back into pre-order. I believe I have the ones that I've wanted. I think I might have even snapped together the cavalry. I can't recall now. Checking time. Good. Got about 10 minutes before I have to bill. I will say this, my daughter, now having graduated, not having to rush upstairs to see her off is nice. Another couple of months, she won't even be here. Crazy. Let's see where we are. People feel stupid in a professional way. Yeah, nobody's indispensable. Nobody is indispensable. That's certainly something to keep in mind, and it's a gamble. You know, you can play that card. I'm a very valuable part of our team, and I know it. I don't wield it over people, but I know it, and this is why sometimes it's like, you know what? I'm not doing anything more. But I do think you're right. It's like at some point the company say, "Well, you have to do it." And I say no, and they're like, "Okay, you're not indispensable." Okay, you're right. Then I've got to make a decision. I'm doing a payment plan with PayPal every 2 weeks. They take $20 from my debit card. Nice. I was in the terrarium this morning, found some baby isopods. Looks like they're enjoying the new home. Nice. Cool. $20 every paycheck, every week. That's kind of cool. Richie, is there a charge for them to do that? There we go. You know, I asked a question. I'm not sure if I heard a response, and I apologize if I missed it. So, is GBWC still relevant in any way? It's just I don't know. There we go. That's a lot better. Not perfect, but better. I'm going to GBWC just to make people laugh. We're going to do a song and dance routine, Edwin? Not to most of us. Yeah. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right, Brian. George, this is a live stream one way. If you hear a response, we might have questions for your doctor. Nice. Joe. Nice. I mean, I personally don't place much value in a personally, and I'm not saying it's look, others shouldn't, you know. So I'll use the example of bro builder Brian Denklo, who back in 2019 competed in GBWC East with his Flea, the Flea, which is a fantastic kit. But it was also kit bashed with a lot of stuff from Kotobukiya and other places. Now, as long as you don't report it and they don't know it, it's okay. But if you actually put down, yes, I use third-party stuff on this thing, bing, you're dinged, which is too bad because his model was clearly the best model in that show. Now, he did win because it was a don't ask, don't tell. Going to build something funny, or those who know if they laugh, they have a dirty mind. I love it. Edwin, that's the way it should be, right? Make them laugh, make them laugh, make them laugh. God knows we need more laughter right now. God knows. Oops. Almost there. Let me put some surfacer in there too, then just scrape it away afterward. In fact, that's exactly what we're going to do. And then once we're done with the surfacer, I think we will call it a session today. There we go. Just love this stuff. Love, 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 love. You know, looking at the the version of this that I started back 40 years ago, and how much things have changed, both in terms of the stuff that I've learned, techniques, materials that are out there now to help improve stuff. Just it's amazing. It really is. Now, I don't know if they had Surfacer back in the day. I really don't. I mean, I know Mr. Hobby has been around forever and a day. We'll touch this area up just a little bit. There we go. Maybe we'll come down this way too. What the hell? Let's see if there's anything. But just the amount of stuff that's available to us now. Not, you know, I think I forgot to talk about it. Robert and I were having a conversation yesterday, texting back and forth about a couple of things. You know, and one of the things that it's like he said something about, you know, Scratch building something on an Exia, and he showed me some stuff from Naoki, you know, and you know how you can do some of this stuff, and you know, skill sets. Anyway, long conversation, but the distillation of it was, you know, we have the ability now to see so much work out there in a way that, you know, 40 years ago when I was, you know, kind of getting into this from the Gundam perspective, from just like really trying to understand models and picking up a lot of the Gundam books at the time in a language I didn't fully understand. You know, you're seeing a lot of that stuff, but the amount of stuff we now have instant access to, and the people we can instantly ask a question of, you know, like last week I was watching Michael Wine's live stream. You know, I was watching it yesterday. I was watching the rerun of it, and you know how he's just answering questions. You know, imagine that anybody in the world can just sit there, watch somebody's live stream, and say, "Hey, by the way, how do you do this?" Or what do you think about that? We can ask those kinds of questions. That instant access to that information is so remarkably valuable, right? And on top of that, we now have the hobby in some ways has become so mature that if we take a look at like some of the specialty tools, and I'm not saying these are like hardcore, but things like, you know, these kinds of little vices that are designed specifically for things like not just jewelry making, but for our hobby, or things like, you know, this little angle device. all of this stuff that makes our hobbies just so much better. It's impressive. It's old school brush cleaner, like 20s style perfume bottle. I was like, want that. Yeah. And I'm not saying that there aren't old tools. Obviously, things like, let's call it the way it is. I mean, a hobby knife. These things have been around for what? 50, 60, 70, 100 years. Who the hell knows? That itself is a perfected tool. But in addition to that, the amount of stuff that we've seen that has allowed the hobby to get even better. Fabulous time. All right, my friends, time for me to get rolling here. So I'm hoping before the end of the week to have this model at least assembled, get it all kind of cleaned up, get everything kind of all buttoned up, and then just kind of show it real quickly and then get it ready for primer. This weekend is probably not going to be a primer weekend. That blade belonged to my daddy. Exactly. In fact, I think I might actually have some blades from like my dad. Some of my sandpaper I have from my dad. Bizarre. Anyway, this weekend is not sure what's going to happen. Sunday's a possibility of being able to do some airbrushing, but Saturday we've got the No Kings March in the morning. Going to go watch the Brawlers in the afternoon, and in the evening my daughter has her dance recital, so it's going to be a pretty packed day. But anyway, yeah, that's what we got. So it's hopefully get to the painting, but we'll see. Sunday is Father's Day. Oh yeah, that. Forgot about that. Later, Space Noise. Later, Joe. Have a nice day. Catch you all later, guys. Seb, have a great rest of your day, my friend. Thank you. Later, Ken. All right, guys. Stay safe and stay sane. Go out there and do the best you can to brighten the world as much as we possibly can. This is like a crazy time. I've never seen anything like this in my life. We are definitely in a terrible place. It's up to all of us to try to help us pull out of this thing. Show love, show respect, show decency to others. Don't vilify people. Don't abuse people. Don't be an asshole. Do good. All right, with that, I'll be back on tomorrow. Same time, same channel. Enjoy the day, guys. Love you all, and I'll catch you on the flip. Peace.